Good morning, everybody. This is Aviation and Defense Universe from Moscow, and we are at the moment with the Indian ambassador at Moscow, Mr. Venkatesh Verma. And there's no pleasure more than in a foreign land meeting your own people, and no bigger interview for us than yours. So let's begin. We are here at the Army Forum 2021, and we would like to ask you, how does India feel about this forum? We are seeing an Indian pavilion here. We'd like you to tell us what it's all about and how do we increase our ties with the Russians with our presence here.
Well, warm greetings to your viewers and your listeners. Thank you for the interest in India-Russia relations, and thank you for coming to Moscow and attending the International Army Games and Exhibition of 2021. We have a big delegation, as you've seen. You've interacted with many of them, headed by our Secretary for Defense Production, Mr. Raj Kumar, and a number of major PSUs and private sector bodies. We have a big pavilion, as you've seen, displaying what India has done. It's not only a symbol of our friendship with Russia in the defense sector, which is a very important pillar of our cooperation and our special privileged strategic partnership with Russia, which is long-standing, more than 60 years old, but also how India has grown as a defense power, its defense industry, which is now making its mark in the international system. And this is a very good occasion to display and show what India is capable of. And we are very happy, a very good Indian delegation, despite all the complications that arise from the COVID pandemic, is in Moscow. We've had excellent discussions. I've sat through many of them. Mr. Raj Kumar's discussions, defense production. Our priorities are very clear to the Russian side, and I'm happy to note that our priorities on Atmanirbhar Bharat, Make in India defense program, is something that is making a lot of progress, and a lot of receptivity on the Russian side, a lot of support, and we are looking at many instances where India and Russia can work together to make this a success. So this is a happy story from Moscow, and I'm glad you are able to see it yourself.
Also, sir, that now that we had a big delegation, we had the security DP, and I'm sure you all must have met Rostec, Rosabron Export. We've got Indo-Russian military ties are very old, so there are a little hitches which come at times. And were you able to smoothen them out for the future contracts to go through smoothly with this presence of the secretary here? For example, with the AK-203 joint venture, which has met a little this thing. So we just wanted to understand, are there some developments on fronts where there were blockages?
Yeah, sure. That is part of the conversation. Any big relationship, any evolving relationship always has things that we are presently on track and something that we look for the future. What is on track, we wish to make them as efficient and as smooth as possible. There are a number of spare part supplies that come from Russia. These have been smoothened to a very large extent, but wherever there are hitches, I think occasions such as this give us an opportunity to smoothen them out. We're also looking at some new projects. The AK-203 is something that you mentioned, will be an extraordinarily important project. It will be a Make in India project. It will be a joint venture between Russia, concerned Kalashnikov, and OFB. It's called the India-Russia Rifles joint venture. It will be based in UP. Substantially over a period of time, a majority of our Indian armed forces will be armed with the AK-203 rifle. It is one of the world's foremost advanced assault rifles. So that's a huge jump. It is also a huge jump in terms of Make in India, because in a graduated phase, there will be 100% transfer of technology. So after a certain point of time, the rifles that will be produced in India, AK-203, will be 100% Indian. And that after we complete the requirements of our Indian Armed Forces and our Indian paramilitary forces, of course the opportunities will open up for export of this item to third countries. So we are building also 2 frigates in Russia. 2 more will be built in India. The 113.5 .6, 1135.6 frigates. Two are
Right.
being built in Kaliningrad. Our delegation has gone there to see. These are on track. I can also mention the S400 deal, which is also on track. There are a number of other items on which we are engaging with Russia. Presently, we want certain top-up numbers for our Sukhoi 30 MKIs and the MiG-29s. So those are moving forward. India-Russia Defence Cooperation is very active. As you see, this is only one of the major delegations that has come. Yeah. Last month we had the pleasure of hosting Admiral Karambir Singh, our Chief of Naval Staff. He was here for the 325th anniversary of Russian Naval Day. INS Tabar was also there in St. Petersburg. I had the pleasure of accompanying our Admiral, and again an excellent series of discussions. INS Tabar also participated in naval exercises with the Russian Navy. We've also had our first mechanized infantry brigade participating in the Indira 2021 in Volgograd. It was an extraordinarily successful joint exercise, not just in terms of techniques and maneuvers and exercises, but also the camaraderie and the friendship that was displayed between the Indian Armed Forces and the Russian Armed Forces. And we'll be very happy to share some very good photographs with this, which you will be happy if you could show it to your audience. So on the whole, we are moving ahead. Of course, General Shoigu is expected to visit India for the India-Russia Joint Commission, which he co-chairs along with our Raksha Mantri, Sri Rajnath Singh. As you can see, there's a very good photograph right behind me, which shows the excellent cooperation and trust between the two ministers. When you just witnessed General Shoigu visiting our pavilion, I conveyed on behalf of Raksha Mantri his warm regards to General Shoigu. So there's very good contacts as well. More importantly, India and Russia have agreed to establish a new mechanism of consultations called the 2+2, whose first meeting is expected to take place before the end of the year in parallel to the meeting of the Joint Commission. So there's good preparations going on as well. But to top it all, I think there's excellent understanding between Prime Minister Modi and President Putin on defense matters, which and trust at the summit level always translates into very good support for implementing specific issues of cooperation. The international system is very complicated, as you can see. The recent events in Afghanistan have shown once again that India and Russia need to work together. We face common challenges, common interests. But most importantly, I can tell you this. My experience as the Indian ambassador here is Russia is fully supportive of India's priorities in the defense sector, in Make in India program, Atmanirbhar Bharat program. BrahMos is an excellent example. In fact, it's the first example of a Make in India, of an internationally recognized missile system, which is of the highest global standards. So we already have a very good tradition. We intend to move forward in the area of new mechanized armor, in the area of building new helicopters, in the area of building transport aircraft. So the field is pretty wide. We're also happy that there's more and more cooperation between Russian defense industry and our private industry. Our private industry is growing up very fast in India. They are capable of producing very high technology products, and the more capabilities you show, the better partners you are able to have internationally. And I can say that while India is friends with a very large number of countries, the Russia-India partnership is unique because of its long history, its principles of trust and confidence, and the very large number of success stories that already are there. And India also has a very large inventory of Russian origin equipment. So what we are trying to do is to create facilities in India that can service Russian origin equipment, not just for India, but also for third countries, which also have equipment from Russia. So we are moving in that direction as well. So the future is very promising. We are confident that this is something that we can take forward which will be of benefit to both countries.
Russia being the biggest CIS nation after the break of Soviet Union, what we just wanted to understand was that your role as ambassador in Russia, does it overplay throughout the 15 CIS nations? What is because they also have a lot of defense manufacturing.
Yeah, sure. You see, of course, I am ambassador only to the Russian Federation.
Yes, yeah.
Which is, of course, the largest country in the CIS, the largest country in the world, and also our biggest defense partner. So, but our relations with these various CIS countries, especially Central Asian countries, we have ambassadors and embassies in each one of them, and we have independent relations with each of the Central Asian states. But that doesn't mean that there is no scope for cooperation on common challenges, common issues. For example, the T-72 tank, which is a tank produced in Russia, of Russian origin, is there with India. It is also there with many of the Central Asian states. So obviously, when there is such commonality, when you look at repair necessities or modernization or upgrades or development of the new tank technologies, this already creates an excellent base for India, Russia, and Central Asia to work together. And there are some proposals for precisely achieving these objectives.
And so you spoke about the 2+2 dialogue, which is going to happen for the first time. So will it be hosted in Russia and Moscow?
No, we expect the first ministerial dialogue to take place in Delhi, but we also expect some preparatory meetings to take place in Moscow. So there'll be some preparatory meetings in Moscow, but the actual 2+2 meeting will be held in Delhi.
So my last question, which I wanted to understand from you was that here in Russia, we have a very major, the big companies are there, but you have a very major MSME category. Now there was generally in Delhi, we have always been told that the embassies of various nations have a very big role to play in developing those MSMEs as prospective Indian partners. So what does the embassy do in that case? Because it's not that, we feel that it's the ministry which should be involved in this and people should go and project their things. But we have been told that this is more of an embassy role.
No, it is a role that has to be performed by everyone. And the embassies, of course, have a responsibility and a duty to reach out to SMSC, the small and medium enterprise sector, and make the right connections, which we've already done in India with Russia. We have something called the Military Industrial Conference, MIC, which creates a platform for the defense industries of both sides to come together. Our Raksha Mantri had come in 2019, and we had held a very major defense industry conference. Because of the COVID, it could not be held in 2020 in a major way. But these sort of platforms for dialogue are held in every major occasion. For example, in Aero India, when the Russian delegation visited Bangalore or to UP, when the Aero India was held there, there are always on the sidelines some events designed to bring the small companies together. Because as we've seen in Europe, the future is, of course, you have the big companies, the big producers, the big aggregators, but many of the components, the high technology components, are built at the SMEs level, and the SMEs are actually the real strength going into the future. So we have every intention to support them. We have every intention to create the right connections, and there's a lot of receptivity from the Russian side as well to work with this sector in India.
Thank you very much, sir.
Pleasure.
Pleasure talking to you, sir.
Same here, and I hope you enjoy your stay in Moscow.